as liaisons to Bay Bridge. So that was a really great event to hear about their experiences, not only at school, but in our community. And next month, we will be doing a lot of work around Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. We have formed a coalition with other organizations on the North Shore for not only a day of service, but of recognition, education, and advocacy. So I invite you to check out our website, which is baybridgewisconsin.org. We had to add the Wisconsin because Bay Bridge is a popular name. So we had to differentiate by adding Wisconsin. And additionally, if you want to get in touch with us at any point, our email is baybridgewisconsin@gmail.com. So we, as I mentioned with January, we'll have a series of opportunities to volunteer and connect. There will be an online faith-based service. We're going to do a sandwich making blitz for a food bank, Just One More Ministry that we work with on a regular basis, but we will be kind of amping up that service activity. So there will be a lot of ways to get involved. So without much further ado, I do want to start to introduce our panelists. We have about 8 panelists with us tonight who will each get 5 minutes to tell us about their organization. And we're really excited to have them here with us. This is a way to connect with some groups with which you may be familiar or maybe ones that are new to you. But these are all people that we found to be really inspiring to us, people that are making a huge amount of difference in our community. And there will be opportunities afterwards to ask questions. And if you want to get involved or possibly even consider making a holiday donation to one of their very worthy causes. So it was hard to keep this group to a small level. There's so many great organizations, but these were ones where we had personal connections, and we welcome our panelists here tonight. So we will actually be having Kathy Werzer has our clock and has chimes to keep us on task. So after 5 minutes for each panelist, you'll hear a pleasing chime sound. That means that we will move on to the next. And Jean Plum has prepared, along with the panelists, a very nice slide presentation to support each of their segments. So tonight we will be starting with Kai Gardener-Mishlove of Aurora Walker's Point Community Clinic. Kai works with the refugee population, and she has also started something called Tables Across Borders, but I will let you tell her more about it. Tell that to you. Thank you so much, Kai, for being here tonight. So Kai, if you want to unmute, and Jean, if you want to pull up the slides, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all the work that you're doing at Bay Bridge to address, all of the inequities that we're dealing with in our society. I'm a firm believer in building bridges as a way to, to alleviate some of the disparities that we're dealing with in our community. So my name is Kai, and I'm the program coordinator for Refugee Health Services at the Aurora Walker's Point Community Clinic. A lot of folks do not realize that this clinic is the largest free clinic in the state. And we provide services to not only refugees, but 75% of our patient population is from the Latinx community, and 75% of our population makes less than $10,000 a year. So we're dealing with very, very vulnerable communities. I specifically work with the refugee community, and they're coming from Syria, from Somalia, from Ethiopia, from Burma, from, all over the world. And the purpose is to provide inclusive programming that's innovative, because I feel that you cannot address some of the stigmas and some of the underlying health issues and disparities in a community, in a society, if you don't address some of the underlying social issues that contribute to it. So I've developed all sorts of innovative programming to address social isolation and some of the other things, social isolation and some of the other things that you can imagine that new refugees are dealing with, especially given the last couple of years. There's been a lot of negative rhetoric about who refugees are in our society. So we've done things like put together a welcome neighbor program, of which everyone is invited to participate in, where we're setting up people from the community to be not only mentors, because I feel like that's a two-way street, but buddies to new families coming in to help them acclimate. I set up a global cuisine project, such as the Tables Across Borders project, connecting refugee chefs to local restaurants and to the community. And the whole purpose is to broaden the horizons of our Milwaukee community and also connect people to each other. So we do various health and wellness workshops, exercise and nutrition. We have a Salam baby shower that we've done for refugee patients that many of you have participated in from the Whitefish Bay area and the North Shore. And during COVID, we had to pivot. All of our in-person programming, such as Zumba, all of the stuff that's not paid by anything except out of our own pockets, the pockets of staff, we had to pivot to remote work. So I'm working mostly remote now. So that means I'm doing a lot of porch drops and a lot of Zoom programming. So we're doing Zumba on, online now and addressing some of the mental health disparities that people are dealing with, the social isolation. So we're doing all sorts of things, dropping off lavender oil on doorstops to say, hey, apply this and it'll, and do some deep breathing and, let's drop off some flowers on your doorstep. And also an arts and crafts cooperative. I'm trying to assist some of the women who are working with us on developing skills that they can market. And what you didn't see is I'm wearing a scarf that one of the women made. So these are some of the innovative programming that people don't think of as health, but it is health. So I appreciate any kind of consideration you can give towards giving towards our program. And here on the slide, it shows all of the different things that we're doing. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And I look forward to answering any questions that people may have, at any time.
Hi, could I ask you to turn your video on and show us your scarf?
Yes, okay. Let's see, can you see it? You see it now? So, we partner with a lot of different community groups. This was something we took a bunch of women from our refugee program to the Linden Sculpture Garden, where they learned from one of the artists and residents of how to dye silk. So these are some of the projects that we do at the clinic. And I'm trying to set up this cooperative so that not only are people able to cook and sell their food, but also sell their crafts.
Kai, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for showing us that pretty scarf. And for people on the call, if you want to see the speakers, this is just a technical detail. If you can go to the top of, if you see a column of people right now, hopefully you have a middle box that says show active speaker video, and then you should be able to see the person speaking as well as the slide presentation. And then I also encourage you to use the chat to drop your questions in, and we will try to address those towards the end. So thank you again, Kai, for your amazing work and for being here tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next on the list, we have our friends at 5 Points. Oh, we're going to do Jacarrie. Hold that thought, people. Jacarrie's Kicks for Kids. Jacarrie, I saw you jump in. So welcome, Jacarrie. And we look forward to hearing a little bit about your organization. And Jacarrie, you can unmute and start sharing your video as well, if you'd like.
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm Jacarrie Carr, the CEO of Jacarrie Kicks for Kids. Our mission at Jacarrie Kicks for Kids is to develop students spiritually, academically, socially, physically, and emotionally from adolescence through adulthood. We provide a comprehensive program that prepares our students for advancement in the educational system and instills the values necessary to live well in this world. Can you go to the next slide, please? The next one also, I'm sorry.
8 years.
Next slide.
Yes. Perfect. So our core values are leadership, excellence, and community. And these core values drive everything we do. They serve as our guiding principles for Jacarrie Kicks for Kids staff, volunteers, and families. And these values underlie our work and determine how we interact with each other and which strategies we employ to fulfill our mission. So at Jacarrie Kicks for Kids, I started this 8 years ago, so around 2012. And we're mostly known for our shoe customization program and our shoe drive giveaway. So what that is when our youth collect shoes, we customize those shoes, and then we give those shoes to youth in need before school starts, along with haircuts and hairdos and book bags with supplies, so they can go on to school and focus on their education and not be bullied or teased for their appearance. I've been a community activist for the last 5 years, so a lot of that work pours into my nonprofit also, because the work I see out in the streets and a lot of the kids I see in the streets, they're looking for help and they don't have anyone that quite understands them. And I'm one of those people that just really gets to understand them. The programs we currently offer, if you could turn to the next slide. The programs we currently offer is our connection program, our community events program, our life skill training, and our tutoring program. So our connection program is our donate and restore program. That's when we receive donations, our kids restore them, and then we give those to kids in need. Our community events programming is from toy drives, coat drives, and fashion shows. But due to COVID this year, we did 3 food giveaways to families in need, because we know a lot of families were in need. Our third programming is life skill training, and that's when we offer young people between the ages of 10 to 18 life skill training for job interviews, computer literacy, resume building, college application, email etiquette, and more. And then finally is our tutoring program, and that's when we offer tutoring and mentoring to ages 10 to 18, but mostly focused on high school students. If you turn to the next slide, I posted some pictures of the work we do so you guys can see. So in the community, a lot of kids are big on sneakers and their fashion, and a lot of families just don't have the funding to pay for that. So what I started Jacarrie Kicks for Kids based on is giving away sneakers. I knew that was a way I could reach kids that you usually can't reach, the kids that have bad GPAs. I wanted to figure a way to get in tune with them. So I would offer sneakers if they would get a 3.0 GPA. What you guys can see on these pictures is the pictures ahead is these students are restoring sneakers. So they're restoring sneakers for the other community kids who are in need. But if they have a 3.0 or all A's, they'll get a pair of sneakers for their grades. By doing that, I got the kids to be more in tune with school, and a lot of my kids are now succeeding with a 3.0 GPA or higher. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this was this year's book bag giveaway. Due to COVID, we did a book bag giveaway through drive-through, and that's when we have all of our youth who we help throughout the year come back and then pass book bags to the families that's in need, so they can go to school together and fresh and don't have to worry about being bullied or teased for not having supplies or material. Can you go to the next slide, please? So the guy on the left, that's Jamal Williams, the Packer running back, the Packers backup running back. And those shoes he have in his hands is some shoes that we created along with our students. So we created those shoes for Jamal Williams so he can wear them in practice or in games, but also so he can engage back in our organization and talk with the kids. We noticed by having different NFL and NBA players, we were able to get the kids to be more engaged on their education also. The picture on the right is me doing a shoe drive with my team in Chicago, Illinois. And this was huge for us because we met a lot of connections, and that's how we got connected to Jamal Williams. Can you go to the next slide, please? This picture means a lot to me because I was the first African-American male that these kids met, and they're 6th graders. And I met them through my connection program of doing shoes, and they just thought I was so amazing that they wanted to meet me. And through that, they became a part of my programming. And we have done tons of events together that's just been amazing. Last slide, please, because I know my time is running up. Perfect. What I have going on this summer, Jacarrie Summer Scholars, which is a 4-week all-day summer day camp that will be at St. Marcus North Campus, is for all of the inner city kids that attend St. Marcus or live around the St. Marcus area. Our expected outcomes is that youth will perform at a grade level, or above in reading mathematics, that youth are accepted at one or more post-secondary educational institutions, that our youth graduate high school at a goal of 90%, and that youth graduate from either a 2-year or 4-year post-secondary educational program or complete military service in a branch of the armed forces. And our goal for that is 75%. If you guys would like to support Jacarrie Kicks for Kids in any way, this summer camp will be huge because we'll be hosting 75 students. We usually would do 125, but due to COVID, we were trying to host 75 students. This programming will help students with so many things that can help them in life. And I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity to show you guys what I'm working on. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. Also, a huge shout out to my mentor, Al Rupel, for just everything he helped me with. And thank you guys for this opportunity. It's so amazing to be here with you guys.
Thank you, Jacarrie. So glad to have you here. And I've seen the kids painting the shoes and the creativity that comes out in that refurbishment process too. It's pretty exciting. So hopefully everybody's really feeling all the great energy here tonight and the wonderful things people are doing. So thank you, Jacarrie, for what you do and for being here tonight. Appreciate you as well.
I appreciate you.
Thanks. All right. It looks like now we do have the 5 Points Neighborhood Association slides ready to go. And if I could just ask everyone who is not presenting to please remute yourselves, and hiding the video will also help with our connectivity. But Mr. Churchill, if you would like to please unmute yourself, and you may show your video as well, and then you'll show up in the speaker view. 5 Points Neighborhood Association has been a really great partner to Bay Bridge. They are a community that is just to the south of us, and they are near Port Washington Road. I have all the 5 points written down, but I always have to remind myself. But maybe Mr. Churchill, you want to tell us a little bit about where you are geographically. But thank you for being here tonight. And we'd like to learn a little bit more about you. Thanks.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it. I haven't done a whole lot of work with Bay Bridge, but I certainly appreciate this opportunity to be here on the call tonight and tell you a little bit more about 5 Points Neighborhood Association. 5 Points Neighborhood Association was not that in the beginning. It was really a bunch of block clubs that we later decided that we could be more effective by becoming an association, and that's what we did. And that's maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, if my memory serves me. So we became an association as well as a nonprofit organization. And we are primarily came together to effectively try to do some things for the people in our working area, which is maybe about 15 square miles east to west, Holton to Green Bay, I think that's right, and as far south as Locust. So that's our working area. So we have an older population, and primarily we wanted to just be effective in helping the older population. That was our first charter, just to address the needs of them, and that was our catalyst for becoming an association. But later we opened ourselves up to more projects concerning everybody in the working area, so as an association. And those 5 points that you see there are our mantra for doing some things as far as our association. We like to address the blight. We work on the leadership. We have about effectively maybe a 15-member board, and we're constantly trying to groom our leaders. We work to improve home ownership and financial literacy. That's our one of our big things. And we do a lot of focus on mental health training and intervention, and school everybody on the proper climate for political decisions, and as I mentioned before, doing some work for our seniors. That's our website there, if you want to make note of that. Okay, next slide, please. Here you see some pictures. 5PNA has a formal process of working with partners. And to the top left there, you see a group of people working with us. Those are actually UWM students that we work with. We partnered with UWM Service Learner Program. And the way that program works, it allows students that want to get credit for working in neighborhoods and our associations like ours. And they were helping us do some work in one of our big projects. We have a vacant lot that we are trying to improve, and they were helping us out on that day. There were about 15 to 20 service learner students that we get each spring or so. And the program has been going well for maybe 2 to 3 years now. And we have a different slate of students every time. And these students have disciplines that cover all different kind of areas, from engineers to students that are interested in nursing, horticulture. And they all come together, and we are blessed to have enough students join us for our projects. And that's what you see to the left there. Let's see, I blocked some of my screen. To the immediate right of that is another picture of, we have what's called block pop-ups, and we allow vendors to show their wares on these particular pop-up days. And that was one of the events that we had, where vendors came and just displayed some of the products that they have to offer, and they offered that to some of the people in the neighborhood. To the bottom there on your bottom left, that's more pictures of service learner students helping us on a woodworking project. We were trying to build some benches, and they were helping us stain the wood for the benches there. Okay, and the immediate right of that is one of our group meetings. Okay, one more slide, please. And that's, you see the bench there that we finished working on. And to the left of that, at the top left, that's a bigger picture of the project that we're working on as far as the vacant lot. And another picture to your immediate right, far right, that is, one of our meetings, and more pictures of the lot. And we have an annual, the middle bottom picture there. I think that's, boy, it's been so long since I've seen some of these pictures. But anyway, I think that's one of our groups where we were, occasions where we were preparing for our annual senior dinner that we host every year. We put on a big dinner to honor the seniors. Like I said in the beginning, the big majority of our residents in our area are seniors, and we want to honor them, and we were preparing for the dinner that day. And the last picture, bottom right, is just the hall that we meet in. We meet in a church, and that just shows you us preparing for the meeting, monthly meeting. I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Caruthers. We appreciate you being here tonight. And I know you guys have been really responsive to the pandemic as well. Early on, I saw the drive that you did, and Mr. Sims showed me, he was actually storing a lot of the stuff in his garage. I think the thermometers and the wipes and the hand sanitizer and things that you distributed to the community. So you guys have been really responsive to
Yes, and
community members.
I did miss some pictures, and you're showing some pictures that I think where we address some of those things right there.
Okay.
Okay.
There. Well, it's so much. And then I know you do some advocacy work as well. I think there are some concerns about, I know gentrification is an ongoing concern. I actually did put a Facebook post on one of the articles that was from a while back about your neighborhood association and some of the advocacy work. So if people want to go back to the Bay Bridge Facebook page, and a few days back, there's a very nice article about 5 Points Neighborhood Association.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate what you did for us. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for everything you do. Again, just drop your questions in the chat. We will get to them towards the end. And one of our last slides is contact information for all these organizations as well. So it's a lot to take in. We're trying to accomplish a lot here in a short amount of time. So we appreciate your patience, and we will have more contact information towards the end. And now I'd like to welcome MacCanon Brown to our presentation tonight. MacCanon, if you would like to unmute yourself and show your video as well. MacCanon Brown is founder of a homeless sanctuary. I believe your new location is under construction, and I'm guessing you will give us an update on that status as well. So thank you for being here tonight.
Very honored, very happy to be here. And I appreciate that the people that are listening and viewing are in search of what can be done. I really appreciate your quest, your inquiry that unites you into bringing myself and these other very good presenters this evening, people doing good work in the community. So I represent a vision that is very unique even to this country. I do not have a video. I do recommend people going to our website. I won't have enough time to give a lot of detail. I do appreciate the time that has been allotted to me. If you go to our website, actually on our homepage, the feature, the spotlight is Whitefish Bay United Methodist Church, this time in a series, and that congregation has been incredibly involved since this organization, my new chapter, became a licensed nonprofit with nothing except the licensing, the vision, a small board of directors 5 years ago. Previous to that, I was co-founder and executive director of Repairers of the Breach for 22 years, and with other people grew it into a premier nonprofit in Milwaukee, very impactful. And then as that, I moved on from that organization and have this new chapter, as the PowerPoint will explain if you go to the website. My name is on this not by my choice, but by the founders' resolve to respect my legacy as the new organization was found. So it's not a me, myself, and I, it's actually a we thing, and it's part of the incredible message from young people now, millennials and so forth, this message that the world needs a we awakening. The vision that I represent and am honored to lead in this new chapter is about a solidarity model that is very unusual for Milwaukee, and it is very unusual even in this country. We are located and established in the 53206 zip code, which many of you know is the most impoverished zip code and resource scarce zip code in Wisconsin. Actually, where we are located is one of 8 communities nationwide that has the worst living conditions. And we're doing something there, even while our building is still under construction and we don't have real occupancy yet, we're making an impact. People say we're coming in with a larger scope of assistance addressing basic human needs that has been done before in that location. That's what we're told. We are doing outreach events, for instance, Tuesday and Thursday of this week, where we are serving 120 to 150 people each time who stand in line in for an hour outside our door, sometimes an hour and a half, waiting their turn to get a week's supply of food and other essentials. I want to talk about who we serve. We serve people who are in homelessness, that is like real homeless circumstances, and the at-risk homeless. Anyone who has read the book Evicted knows that people in poverty are in and out of homelessness. I've witnessed this for 28 years, that people at risk of homelessness are often Milwaukee's very poor. And so we serve that blurry, we do not have them in two categories. We do not have the people we serve in one category of homeless and the other category of poverty, because in Milwaukee, it's one big blurry population. And the people in that neighborhood where we are located, so many of them are what we call doubled up homeless. They have a roof over their head, but they're crowded into a place where there's just so many people that the living conditions are very challenging. Milwaukee has, for its homeless population, mainly African American people. That is a reflection of Milwaukee's unresolved Black-white issues. If you go to Seattle, the population is primarily Caucasian. East Coast urban areas, the population is primarily Caucasian. Nationally, as the population considered homeless is over 50%. But in Milwaukee, for instance, at Repairs of the Breach, I served 95% homeless people were African American, and in the 53206 zip code where we are now at 24th Place and Center, it is 97% hyper segregated African American. And this is the result of hyper segregation, as you would understand. And we have a concentration of people all crowded together with nearly no access to resources. It is considered a food desert. The people we serve are food scarce. They are undernourished. Plus, they have the added negative of the extremely high lead content in that neighborhood. And so when we came in and were able by miracle to purchase the building that we own debt-free now, this amazing facility, we recognized this is truly a food desert. And so our emphasis going forward is to do a lot with food production, but engaging the people we serve in the production of food and eventually becoming, in that dimension, an employment hub. That's already happening. We invite you to study that. In the PowerPoint, we have a vision for each floor of our amazing facility that will have it become a major help center in this whole city, but also especially in that neighborhood. It is all about the vision though. The building, the amazing building that people are very excited about is just the greatest package for this incredibly unique vision that we have that really is relevant to what you have brought me in here to speak about, because we have a model that is based on mutual transformation. It's a solidarity community. We are a solidarity community. That means that we, for instance, the team doing frontline delivery right now during the pandemic for the 120 to 150 people that come to our outreach events every week, that frontline team of volunteers is half suburban and half neighborhood. These 20 volunteers represent our model, which is that the service delivery is done by a core community of blended, united people of privilege and people who are underprivileged. And the underprivileged people in this core community leadership team are people who have had the same experience as our guests. They have been homeless. They are formerly homeless people. And we are able to create a unity in that core community that has in itself an impact with a core value of what is named Ubuntu. It's a concept that Bishop Desmond Tutu introduced to the world from South Africa. Ubuntu is a concept that is about, I can't be who I am unless you can be who you are. It's that recognition of our connectedness that the world is aching for, especially at this time when there is so much happening that causes despair and has people in such gloom and doom. This concept of Ubuntu represents the new heart that we need to navigate into the future. And our vision, we have a grip on that. Something very amazing is happening at 24th and Center. Good news is happening at 24th and Center. We are seeing people with hope. We're seeing people that looked so undernourished a couple of years ago, after coming to our outreach, getting a week's supply of food over and over again. We're seeing them looking healthier. We're seeing them happy about our building. This whole neighborhood did not have bicycles until we came in. And we have people from Dousman providing about 50 to 60 bicycles and tricycles every 6 weeks. And we've been giving them out. Now, everywhere you look in that neighborhood, there's bicycles and tricycles. But it's more than that. It's about this vision that has people realize they have a family, they have a community, you know, and we are nonpartisan. Compassion, last time I checked, compassion was nonpartisan. Our community that we are building by week after week, as we keep adding new community partners, and as more and more people receive hope and help from us, growing every week, we have then a sense that there is a togetherness between the privileged and the underprivileged, very unusual. We are a nonpartisan, transformational, interfaith, solidarity community, and we are a model of what Milwaukee needs in all the division and all the segregation and all the barriers to unity that Milwaukee has. We have a model that we are showing Milwaukee as to what can be done. We can put people together from different walks of life and not have it be about one group is better than another group, so the one group is coming in to fix the other group. That's not what we're about. We are about this amazing vision that we have mutual transformation. The suburban people who are more privileged are being transformed in the process of being part of this unity, just as the people from the central city who have low income and underprivileged and very tragic backgrounds, some of them, are being transformed by being part of the unity and community that we're part of. So we are in a neighborhood where there is such need. We have this huge building that we're developing, and everyone says, that's an awful big building, but it's just perfect for the need for us to match the programming with the need. And every week and every month, we're adding to the vision, and the planning that we have is advancing. Today, we had the delivery, very exciting, of the prototype of our future full-grown aquaponics system that MSOE students have designed. Today, the miniature of that MSOE students built was delivered to our building, and we'll be showing that to people. We want more people to be involved. We've given out 5,000 face masks since the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. This weekend, we're giving toys and gifts to over 800 teens and children who usually are not even accustomed to receiving gifts at Christmas time. We are blessed to have a vast and growing network of faith communities of all kinds, including Buddhists, Muslims, and Jewish people. The whole bouquet are part of what we're doing. We are only 5 years old. We don't have occupancy yet, but if you study our PowerPoint, you know that the dreams, the big dreams that we are dreaming are becoming reality there, are going to very much make a difference in the safety net of Milwaukee and in that 53206 zip code. So I invite you to study our website, consider becoming involved, just as the Whitefish Bay United Methodist Congregation has been doing, and be aware that something really great and exciting and new is happening in the 53206 zip code.
Thank you, MacCanon Brown. That's amazing. And thank you for offering that vision of hope and unity. I think it's so easy to dwell on the deficits and the negativity, and you've really highlighted for us some of the transformational aspects for everybody involved in your work. So thank you for sharing that with us tonight, and thank you for everything you do. Again, we'll be sharing contact information for all of these groups towards the end of all the presentations. And we have also shared an article about MacCanon Brown's sanctuary on our Facebook page. We've shared information on almost all of the organizations that are here tonight. So if you want to do some further reading, our Bay Bridge, Wisconsin Facebook page is another resource, in addition to, of course, the websites and social media of all the groups that are presenting tonight. Thank you, MacCanon Brown. And now we will be moving to a collective of individuals who will be presenting in tandem. And Camille Mays of the Peace Garden Project is here. Camille has started gardening projects in response to gun violence. Camille, if you'd like to unmute yourself and put on your audio, we would love to have you kick off this collective series. Welcome, Camille.
Hi, everybody. My name is Camille Mays, and I shared the link in the chat. I really ask and encourage you guys to look at the story and to just take a look at my journey. But part of the collective, oh no, okay, I'll share it again. But just to give you a brief overview of who I am and who the other members are and how we came together. My name is Camille again, and I've met Sister MacCanon Brown. Jacarrie is one of my partners. I've had the pleasure of meeting Fatima from 5 Points and going to the beautiful gallery. I do a lot of community work. I don't even know how to encompass everything that I do. I'm out doing community projects with UWM students. We transform vacant spaces. We do community gardens. I work with families of homicides and accidents in their healing journey. And I'll start there with our collective. I've been doing peace gardens with families of homicide for 5 years, and I started off as a one-band grassroots person, and my fiance joined me. So now we're two man-woman band, and we work with communities, community groups, community members, families who want to replace the memorials that we see throughout the city. And what I do is I offer perennials for free. And me and the community and the family members, we plant flowers as a reminder of planting peace and love instead of death and, the city looking like a cemetery. I'm an avid supporter of people against gun violence, promoting peace in the city. I've worked with the Office of Violence Prevention. I'm on the board for Crime Stoppers, which is the anonymous tip line that was brought to Milwaukee. I work with block groups. I mean, I pretty much do it all just as a person in the community, deemed an organizer, but I'm not with the organization, and I just do what I can do out there in the community. I don't even, have a big title or anything. And so, unfortunately, a year ago in November, November 10th, my son Darnell was murdered. He was a victim of gun violence. And so this last year has been very, very hard for me. And I've got slapped in the face with reality of the work that I do and being on the other side of that. And so it helped me understand that even though I had good intentions and a lot of the people that I work with had good intentions, it was ways that we could do it better and fill some of the gaps that we just really didn't even know about. And so this year, I had the pleasure of meeting Ericka from Health Connections, and we met during COVID, at the beginning of COVID. And I admired Ericka, and I thought she was super dope because she was this Black woman in Milwaukee with a clinic, a medical clinic, and she was offering COVID PPE and trying to get COVID tested in the neighborhood when it was really, really hard for people to even get regular tests. And I thought that was like really, really nice. I thought, with our community having the health disparities, I was just really happy that somebody was out there fighting to get tested to Black and brown people who might not have regular doctors and might not have access to these things. Um, and through God's grace and organic meetings and just people scrambling at the beginning of COVID, they start really listening and supporting the people on the ground like us who were really out there with the people who really had a lot of the answers. And it just really helped us out with getting the support finally, that we really deserve, like Sister MacCanon Brown and Jacarrie and we're out here effortlessly and countless days and nights, and we're there without pay because of the passion in our hearts. And we just been really doing the work. And part of my healing journey is continuing to help others. And I've been really focused on mindfulness for myself and healing tools and coping tools to deal with the grief. On top of that, people are going through COVID and COVID death. And so they're really having a hard time having access to those things, access to fitness, access to health and resources and basic needs. So that's where our collective comes in. Shaheen is she's working at the Move Center and she's out there working with the immigrants and she's working with a lot of people who don't have access to things that they need. And so she's providing a lot of these things now through the collective coat drives, flu shots, COVID testing, PPE. She can be a community hub. She's been helping the senior citizen center near the Maru Center with resources as well. Ambrose is fitness. He helps with how we think and our way of thinking and breathing exercises. And he's getting people fit. And in this world of COVID, people who don't have access to the gym don't have money for the gym for sure, or yoga, or a lot of these things. So he's providing kits as well as myself so that we're not just telling people what they can do, but actually providing tools for them to do it. And Ericka, she has all of the health connections, all of the fears and the things that people need to know what to do. She's our medical expert. She has all of the resources to therapy, to testing, to resources in regards to needs that people may have with lack of access to medical care in the community. And she's able to guide them on, health plans and she helps with drug treatment. She helps with providing information for a lot of these different things that we don't have access and connections to, and really helping connect the dots to the Black and Brown community. And she just won a local award. And she's also working with the neighboring community of the North Shore neighborhood in the health department, as well as the Milwaukee Health Department with COVID. And she just recently got a tent approved for testing throughout the winter. And me and my fiance are doing a series of events and giveaways. And we were really thinking about the families of homicide and COVID. And we will be distributing healing kits to those families. In those kits, we have things like singing bowls, yoga mats, self-care journals, and things, gift cards so that they can get a pocket therapy or self-care things for themselves. Because it's a hard time right now during the holiday season. People just don't have money to do things and they just don't have access to these things. And so we want to be able to provide that. We're going to be doing an art session. We're going to be doing some other events. We have given away kits to community organizers because Who Heals the Healers is something that's been coming up a lot in the work. And so I wanted to provide that for them, even myself being a healer, because I know we often get overlooked. And so I just think it's really dope that we all got together and we teamed up and we are open for support, donations, partners who are interested in providing resources to the community for health and wellness, mindfulness, nutrition, anything that meets wellness. And we really want to change the mindset of saying mental illness to mental wellness. So we want to really focus in on that and get rid of the stigmas attached to depression and anxiety because I personally think everybody could use therapy or a life coach. So, and right now I say we're all nuts because we have cabin fever and we're all a little bit nervous. And so we just wanted to provide some ease during these times and provide access to things people wouldn't normally be able to afford. And so, yeah,
Thank
I'm
you,
ready.
Camille Mays. That's amazing. And before the Zoom started tonight, when we were on early, you mentioned a little bit about the therapeutic value of the plants that are so lovely framing your picture there tonight. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so sorry for your loss. And thank you for all you do for our community. And we really appreciate you being here tonight as well.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that Ambrose is on the call, but I would like to mention that some of us know him as well from, he has offered classes at the Whitefish Bay Rec Department. So it is someone we are familiar with. So it's nice to cross paths again. And I think Ericka did join us. So Ericka, if you wanted to kind of take us into the home stretch here and share with us a few minutes of what you do. If you would like to unmute and show your video, Ericka, that would be great. And then we'll have hopefully time to answer. I've seen a lot of activity in the chat, a lot of questions coming in. We'll get to as many as we can after Ericka Sinclair says a few words. Thank you.
Sure, thank you so much. Camille, that was perfect. I was glad you went into all the details you did about the collective. So you all know how we came to be as a group. Yes, Health Connections, Inc. I've been, have a medical clinic here in Glendale for 5 years now. We're right on Port Washington Road, 1 block south of Hampton. And we do primary care and HIV, Hep C, transgender health, and we just added a psychiatric nurse practitioner. So we're doing behavioral health as well. So one of our missions is to really be in the space to provide care for vulnerable populations. People that don't normally have access to health care, or they have access and it's really hard for them to get through it for various reasons. Most of our trans patients have really, really hard times going through traditional forms of healthcare. And this is me having worked at Aurora for 5 years in senior management, so I know how that system works. I have a background in international public health, so I've set up HIV clinics and such in other countries. I worked in infectious disease, used to work at Centers for Disease Control. And I work for the city of Milwaukee Health Department, and now I'm on their board of health, so it's like a whole full circle moment there. So I know how these systems work, and my passion is around how to fix them, but also work within them and help people navigate through them. And so I wear different hats as a provider of sorts, a connector for sure, and an advocate always. So I really work in that space. And whenever I'm speaking to someone, I literally think on all levels simultaneously because I'm trying to like, what's the issue that we can get fixed right now? What needs to happen next to fix this in the future for other people? And then where's the disconnect here that the provider may have that they may not even realize that they're like instituting. So I kind of am one of my managers at Aurora. He was my favorite manager. He said I managed up well because I would speak to him in ways that he allowed me to, and it was always respectful. I'm always respectful, but I'm also going to say what needs to be said in order to make it better for everybody. So so being a straight shooter, as Missy would know, he was on this call. Is who I am. It's in my DNA. Community is in my DNA. So to Camille's point, when COVID came, we had to pivot as well. So we're doing virtual healthcare, and we do in person for our labs and things like that, but only like once a week by appointment, things like. But COVID testing, that was a highlight for me for health equity, to be able to get people to get tested that need to get tested. So we started doing community events. We started creating community events. We started testing at food pantries. If there was a food giveaway, we would show up. Like literally, my crew and I would get in the car with our materials and show up. And we would ask people, when's the last time you got tested? And we would myth bust all day, like all day. And we still do that. And at one point we got a connection with North Shore Health Department, and we were able to in fact, we're celebrating our partnership tomorrow. So if anybody wants to come by and see the tent and then be a part of it, come through. We have 100 prizes or gifts to give away. So please do come through. I don't want to take those home. It's 4425 North Port Washington Road is where we're located. And it's a drive-through tent. Come through, get tested. Even if you don't get tested, we'll still give you the gifts because we got to give you these gifts. And we're saying appreciation for it. Setting up the tent, it's a drive-through. And the partnership that we have are from Community Resource Navigators from the Employ Milwaukee program. And they were employed to do COVID relief, and they're actually got trained to do testing. So it's a skill set now for them. So we're trying to raise money as far as our clinic is concerned to help fill the gap that their program ends the end of this month, so a couple of weeks. And we are raising money to see how far we can keep them on board with us. So we're advocating at different levels for major funding, but any funding that anyone gives towards this allows these people, and these are people who lost their jobs because of COVID. And now they're in the community serving people, doing COVID testing. And even though there's reports saying that COVID is like winding down and vaccine is coming and all this, I just implore people we still have to stay the course. Everybody's not gonna get that vaccine till the end of the year. By the time it's full coverage and enough coverage for us to really come back out, if you will. So we still gotta do the thing. So wow. Testing and stuff, public testing is going to be winding down. I'm trying to position Health Connections to still be in that particular space at a county level so that we can still fill those gaps, because that's what we are at the end of the day, our gap fillers. So whatever we can do to fill those gaps we go to people's homes and do testing. We test 100-year-old, 104-year-old, both of them were positive because their personal caregivers were positive. But we're talking to them, we're helping with their anxiety around testing. We're helping people that are traveling. We got college kids coming home. Like different situations are happening. We tested a 1-year-old that was positive. Mom is scared. How do we counsel them through that? There are not a lot of people that their own providers are not even testing them. So they don't really have a lot of resources. So we again, just stand in the gap, fill the gap, and we definitely make sure we refer people to where they need to land, but we just stand in the gap in the meantime. So whatever we can do for any of you, our number is easy. It's 414-999-1099. Give us a call. We're willing to come and set up testing in any location, do house calls, and then you can also visit us at the tent.
Ericka Sinclair, thank you so much for your myth busting, among other things. It sounds like you offer amazing responsive healthcare services that accommodate so many different needs, and congratulations on your recent award again. So thank you for what you do in our community, and thank you for being here tonight and telling us more about it. We're coming very much to the end. We've run over 2 minutes, I think, but there was so much goodness here tonight that needed to be recognized and acknowledged. So thank you to everyone who has been here tonight, the presenters, attendees. Our final slide here has contact information. We're going to be dropping the links into the chat as well for you to get in touch with each of these organizations. And I encourage everyone to just spend 5 minutes tonight or sometime this week looking up these amazing community people that provide so much and make Milwaukee a wonderful place. So much passion here, so much positive energy, and really just wonderful to hear all these stories. So thank you for everyone being here tonight. If people want to stay on for a few minutes, we can maybe get to a few of the questions. We understand too if you need to leave. But we'll keep the Zoom open for a few more minutes if people want to carry on the conversation, because there's just so much positivity here. So thank you, everyone.
I do have a couple questions that showed up in the chat, if you wouldn't mind highlighting. There's so many great comments and links that it might be kind of hard for some of our speakers to maybe sort through them. Jacarrie, is Jacarrie still on? Yes, I see. One of the questions was, where do you get your shoe donations from? And also, what exactly do you need for the summer program? Is it just funding, or do you also need volunteers?
Yeah, so majority of my shoes come from community members. I have one of my friends, his name is Jordan Poole. He plays for the Golden State Warriors. So I have donations that come from that lane. I graduated from UWM with my bachelor's and my master's, so they still collect shoes and help me in different ways. So I kind of get them from all over. I'm also a big sneakerhead, so I'm a part of a lot of sneaker communities where sneakerheads donate also. And for the summer camp, we're definitely gonna need like speakers, people that have statue that want to come in and talk with the kids, because we think that's amazing for them to meet people who don't mind spending time with them and who can actually invest in them. And besides that, and funding is another huge thing, just to make sure we can do this properly and safely. I did a summer camp this past summer. I had to shorten it down, so I only had like 15 kids in my vicinity, but it was okay because COVID was kind of higher at the time and everybody had to wear masks and things. This year, with the vaccine being out, we hoping that we can kind of get back to normal, but also putting the kids in a great space.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Nope.
Very resourceful. And I love that. Thank you for making a direct request for speakers. So please reach out to Jacarrie and let them know if you can help that way. And I think the PayPal information was also in the links.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right, the next question was from Melissa Oogland, and I wasn't sure if you meant it for everyone or a specific speaker, but how are you seeing families' needs change in the time of COVID? Is any of our speakers, or Missy, were you directing that at a particular person?
No, just anybody. Thanks, Carrie.
Mm-hmm. Anyone
What
want
I'm thinking, just picture this. So like, picture everybody who was doing okay, like maybe a group of well-off people are now middle class. The middle class people who were barely making it are now poor. And then the people who were already poor are scraping for scraps, scraping to stay in their houses. And then landlords is offering a unique situation for me to look at with like landlords and tenants. Tenants don't have money because they're losing jobs. Landlords don't have money to keep up the stuff because they losing jobs. So it's a real unique circumstance of desperation for a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of people become resilient with a lot of businesses are popping up in this time of COVID, side hustles, a lot of people are finding a lot of creative ways to make money in this time of COVID. A lot of people who had a lot of hidden skills that they just went dormant on are really exploring options that way. And I've been just seeing like people really, really in a stressful mode. People who are already down, it's just like the food pantries, they're there, but they're running out of food. You know, a lot of the resources are burnt up. So a lot of the people on the ground, like Jacarrie said, and I'm an avid supporter of people on the ground as a grassroots organizer in small organizations. They have the passion, but not the funding. So donate to whoever you know who's out there organizing, because they need it every step of the way. A lot
Mhm.
of these people need administrative support. If anybody wants to volunteer and offer some of them people help with paperwork, writing up small grants, supporting them in partnerships on things you want to get involved with, anything like that, you know, is very useful to help the people on the ground get more resources. They know a lot of the ways, they know a lot of the way, you know, what's needed. If people would just support some of those people a little more, and you know, whoever has any wellness tips, education, tools, breathing, anything to help people with getting through these times. People are stressed out, people are grieving, people are worried about insurances, worried about their health. You know, if anybody knows things like that, you know, just pass it on, please.
Yeah. And I second what Camille says. I know for me, a lot of my students, what this change I'm noticing is a lot of my students that are online now, they're putting school second and they're putting work first. So a lot of my students are picking up jobs and they like, Mr. Carr, you don't understand, you know, I got to help my mom. I have to help my dad. Like, I like school, but right now we struggling. And so like now you got the kids who really should be getting their education working. And so, you know, that's going to lead to them continuing to work. Education will be a second thing. And then they're not going to want to go to college or anything like that. The parents, as much as they would love for their kids to be in school, they need the help. So it's just everything is kind of screwed up right now. And with us being grassroots, we're just trying to figure out ways to help. So I know a lot of my parents who usually have funds for themselves, they needed food because of COVID. And they weren't personally comfortable with going to get food from pantries and things. So, you know, when I was receiving grants, I was writing the organization that was giving the grant, asking like, hey, can I do some food giveaways? Because there's people in need. I can buy supplies and things like that, but more than programming, they need food. So I'm definitely with Camille. A lot of support needed as far as like financially, but then also just having someone to contact and someone that can have resources.
Yep, and I would say
It
the
is.
same. We do a lot of behavioral health work because of the of COVID. Even with our staff come from the community, so you know it's hard for them to work and also have this distraction of I'm about to lose my housing. I'm about to, you know, my kid is at home by themselves and they're 10, 3, and 4. You know, like this is real for them. So while they're trying to work and try to earn this money, they have these other worries at home, which, you know, I pick up on and I have conversation with them. And so it's hard to take the services that you're offering other people. You know what I'm saying? Like that's hard to do. But we figure out a way to do it with compassion and you know, to the side, and we send resources to them. And whenever I can, I figure out a way to slip them an envelope. It's like my grandmother would say. Slip them an envelope with somebody. And honestly, going through our tent, because our testing is free right now because the state is taking care of it. People have actually without any solicitation, they've given them $50, you know, $40, like they've given them money. And when I say that we've used that money to help them get food for people that on our team that work for us that otherwise wouldn't eat, you know, I feed them as much as I can. Anybody that knows me, I try to feed people. That's what I do. I come from a family of cooks, so we feed people. But when we can't and they just need that, having that plate of food to take home is huge. And these are my workers. So beyond that, when we go in the community, it's just as hard, but they are so grateful that they can still help people while they're yet also getting them their own help. So it's huge, but it's a crazy dynamic to be in, that's for sure.
I'd like to respond here, and that
Yes.
is where we are located. It was already the most extreme food desert in Wisconsin, so food was already scarce, and the people there, the many who live there in poverty and do not have cars, they were already food scarce. There's no supermarkets, there's no 7-Eleven type there's no 7-Eleven type quick stop stores. There's only 2 fast food places. All there are these neighborhood stores that are mom and pop. They're called mom and pop stores that are houses that have been converted into privately owned stores where the prices are triple. The can of tuna is $2.50. The bag of sugar is $4. So if you don't have a car or don't know anyone with a car and you live in this poverty and scarcity, it has been you just don't have access to very much nutritious food. So when we started doing the outreach there, we were serving 30 to 50 people in line, some of them representing households of 6 to 10 people. And we would start giving food and essentials. But since the pandemic, as I said, our numbers are 120 to 150 people each time. And what we see, a lot of times you see the food giveaways as drive-ups, curbside, drive-throughs, but our people, the people we serve, who are the neediest in Wisconsin, come with children's wagons. They come with strollers to put that bag of food in. They come with walkers to put that food on their transportation, and a freezer chest on wheels, a suitcase on wheels. This is the transportation our people come with, and they are so appreciative. If people watching want to look at our urgent appeal list for food in order to keep up the momentum that we have in providing a week's supply of food to the people we serve, that's on Facebook. You'll find several posts on Facebook with that. And other urgent appeals are on our website. We just are so, I'm just so aware that there is social conscience in the viewing and listening here of people wondering, what can we do? You know, that is a rare and precious flower, and we're all grateful. I'm sure the other presenters are grateful for this opportunity to speak to a listening of that nature. Thank you.
And I was going to say that, you know, it takes innovative programming and thinking outside of the box to alleviate a lot of these disparities that we're seeing, in grassroots work. And, you know, it's not easy. You have to look at the history of why things are the way that they are and address that before, you know, you can't put a Band-Aid on a gushing artery. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing and the work that everyone's doing, because it really truly takes a village to deal with a lot of these very complex issues that are complex, but not so complex at the same time. We make it more complex than it has to be. And so I'm really grateful for everyone here. And, you know, I hope that we can continue to support each other and continue dialogue with each other. That's so important, because you can have a million resources, but if it's not directed or focused in the right way, you don't alleviate the problem.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to let you go, but this has been an amazing evening. And I feel like instead of ending this is really the beginning of new relationships and new partnerships and new ways to cooperate. So again, let's all look at these organizations again, do our own research, and keep talking, because working together is the way that is going to be the way forward for all of us. So thank you for everyone's good work. Thank you for being here tonight, and have a great rest of the evening. Hope to see you all again soon.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Be well.
Whatever your business is facing, that's workflow. ServiceNow, official worker of the NBA.
Thank you, panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Be well. Thank you. Be well and be safe.
Thank
You
you.
too. Thanks, Kai. Thanks, Jacarrie.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ericka.
Thank you so much.
Ericka, I don't think you, do you have donation information, Ericka?
I do. I have one for the collective and I have one for me. So I'm sending the one for the collective now.
And we got Jacarrie's, right?
I gave a PayPal, but so my Jacarrie Kicks for Kids on my Facebook, the way we had it on the PowerPoint, it's not spelled the same way. It's spelled Jacarrie Kicks for Kids, like spelled out Jacarrie Kicks, FORIDS. And so they could just use my Gmail, JacarrieKicksForKids@gmail.com.
Can you put that in the chat?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah, it's in there. We got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jacarrie.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being here.
And I appreciate you a million plus more.
All right, we need to talk then. Okay.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Awesome. I don't know who Sam is here.
I think that's Mr. Sims.
Oh, that's right.
No,
Oh, yeah.
it's not.
Or
No,
Churchill or, oh, Mr. Sims?
no.
Hello.
I don't think so. Is that Mr. Sims?
Looks like it would be.
I think that's Mr. Sims.
Yes.
Aha, I was right.
Hello.
Were you on the whole time? Did we miss you?
Yes, I was listening, but I wanted to not interfere because right now I'm be honest with you, I'm in quarantine, so I'm trying to save my energy, and I just wanted to add to the group. Thank you for sharing this with us and doing with us, and to get back to some of the things that we're doing here in 5 Points, which is very, very phenomenal, and then being able to work with the group, especially Bay Bridges. We did some tremendous things together. I just want to also mention that not only did we show the lot and all that, what we were trying to do there, but we also have worked with the Green Bay Park that it's going to be redone, and we was instrumental in laying out a format on what we wanted there and how we wanted it shaped up. But the other thing that I would love to impart with you, now if I'm stuttering, I may not talk too long, but excuse me. I'm trying to fight this off so I can be able to do this. But projects that we have done and worked on through mental health, through the COVID package giveaway, and all our things that we've done, and working with Bay Bridges has been very instrumental and very enlightening. And we've also working within our infrastructure. So we are trying to make life for our seniors the best we can. And it has been a struggle. We have done, food pantry. We did food runs. And so I think this is maybe why I became quarantined a little bit, because getting these things out to the people who need them. And similar, I know everyone has a project and an idea, and the only way to get them to fruition that we all want is that we continue to work together, that we continue to be cognizant of others and their health. And if you can also go to our
Facebook page. You can see some of the things that we have accomplished and what we're trying to accomplish. And gentrification has been one of the most discussed subjects within 5 Points. So we're asking that you would think of us, think of how we're in this together, and that at this point in time, that we can do these things and work together on them as far as getting those COVID and other package things deal that we need to take care of. So I will ask all of you to bear with me, and hopefully taking all these pills that I'm taking right now to stay safe. So you guys stay safe with this, and always good to see you. And it's always good to have everyone working for a common goal. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Sam, if you need anything, make sure you let us know.
Yeah, take care of yourself.
Yes.
Let me know. Yeah.
I
You
will.
have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others, especially at this moment in time. It's super important.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And good to see all of you there.
Good to
You
see
too.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys have a good evening.
All right.
Thank
too.
you.
Take care. Be well.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess I'll go take a pill.
In rest.
Okay then.
All
Good
right.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Kathy, there were a couple other things that came up in the chat, I think before you, or after you captured it.
I
The
can save it again.
health connections information, and then Jacarrie. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah,
saved too.
I
Okay.
saved it.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if you guys know, but the 3 dots on there, you can save the whole chat.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is that? The file? I saw a file icon on there.
It's the 3 dots. If you click on the 3 dots, and then you can see save chat.
And then where does that go? Where does it save
that was
to?
going to be my question.
It goes into your Finder. Let's see. It is
Downloads
in,
or
Oh, show in folder.
yeah, I believe it shows up in like the iCloud.
Oh,
Or
there's a Zoom.
sometimes
Oh,
a
yeah,
new
the
screen
Zoom.
will come up after your Zoom call. There should be like a box that comes up and it shows that it's got a folder in it.
Yeah, I've got it all here.
Okay.
I've got it opened and
So do we want to just take 2 seconds?
oh wait, that's not it. Hold on.
Nope.
Oh,
Yeah, you want to make sure it's not gobbledygook.
right, that was from a meeting earlier today that I saved. Let me see.
I have one. I have it.
You have it?
Yeah. So I could definitely send. Yeah, I could definitely send it.
You have the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I just wanted to make sure we